episode 398. I will be recapping tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite and AEW All Access. Will the main event for AEW Double or Nothing be a singles match, or will it be a four-way match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship? Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hi there, Wrestling Fanatics. I am Lance Brock. Welcome to a brand new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. Time to recap an episode of tonight's AEW Dynamite on TBS and AEW All Access. Let's get right into it without any further ado. Tonight's AEW Dynamite was live from Baltimore, Maryland at the CFG Bank Arena. Our commentators tonight, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Taz. And kicking things off on tonight's Dynamite, an 8-man tag team matchup, the AEW International Champion, Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy, Bandito, Adam Cole, Bay, and making his AEW in-ring debut, Roderick Strong, as they take on the Jericho Appreciation Society. And Chris Jericho was on commentary for this one. Pretty good match to start off the show, and the in-ring debut in All Elite Wrestling for Roderick Strong. The finish sees Adam Cole pin Daniel Garcia to score the win for his team. And then after the match, Adam Cole goes up to the commentary position and attacks Chris Jericho and goes through part of the entrance. And next up, we have women's action. Saraya, representing the Outcast, defeats Willow Nightingale. And then after the match, the Outcasts attack Willow. And then we see Hikaru Shida make her way to the ring with a kendo stick. And it looks like Hikaru Shida is going to betray the AEW originals here. Looks like she is joining the Outcasts, but then just when she is about to attack Willow Nightingale with the kendo stick, we see the AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker DMD make their way up to the apron, and then Shida swerves the Outcasts and attack them with the kendo stick. a bit of a swerve there from Shida. And next up is our trios, Tres de Mayo Battle Royal. Pretty good one here, I thought. It is won by the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn, getting the win in this one. And the AEW TNT champion Wardlow defeats Luther LaRoe. And then after the match, he says he's not done. He calls out Christian and tells him to bring his monster Luchasaurus out. And he wants to face Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship tonight in Baltimore. But Christian says that is not going to happen because the title match is not his. It is going to be Christian Cage challenging Wardlow for the AEW TNT Championship. No word just yet on when this championship match will be taking place. But it could either be on an upcoming episode of Dynamite, possibly Rampage, or they could hold this one off to Double or Nothing. An absolute Ricky Starks defeats Juice Robinson. And then after the match, Robinson's teammate in Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, comes out to attack Starks. And speaking of Bullet Club, today is Bullet Club Day. Too sweet. Happy Bullet Club Day, everyone. And in our main event of Dynamite this week, it is the Four Pillars Tag Team match. The AEW World Champion MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and Sammy Guevara take on Darby Allin and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. There was earlier in the night where Sammy Guevara and MJF were interviewed by the remarkable Renee Paquette, and Sammy is upset with MJF because he says he saw the footage from last week and nobody was in the car with MJF, and Max comes up with this excuse where his back was bothering him for carrying this company, and he didn't want Sammy to think he was a wimp. And like Excalibur explained, crocodile tears, and Sammy ended up forgiving him. And then a little later on, we saw MJF in the locker room of Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and he tries to convince him to blow the match tonight so it'll remain a singles match at All Out. And he convinces him that he should side with him, or tries to convince him, I should say. But Jungle Boy has no part in this. He's not buying it at all. And we have the main event. And pretty good match here. And Darby Allin and Jungle Boy are victorious. And to finish these, Jungle Boy have a cover on Sammy Guevara, but then Darby Allin goes for a coffin drop and gets the pin. So now it is official for Double or Nothing in Las Vegas, the AEW World Championship will be on the line. MJF defending against not one, but 3 challengers. Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and Darby Allin, which I said this quite a while ago. This was the main event for Double or Nothing I was hoping for. They didn't announce it right away. At first, storyline anyway, the original plan was going to be just a singles match for the world title, but now we will see the 4-way match. I have to admit, I would like to see AEW put the world title on either of the 3 challengers that are going to be in this 4 pillars 4-way. Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy, which big fan of Jungle Boy and kind of would like to see him get the world title, like I said, but might be, I can kind of see where some people might think it might be a little too soon, but if I had to pick one over the 3, or those 2 I should say, I might have to go with Darby Allin would be the pick that I might have to go with if I had to choose one to see as AEW World Champion. I think this would be a good time to put the title on him, make him the face of AEW. Has already been a 2-time AEW champion, or TNT champion, excuse me. The face of TNT at one time. But like I always talk about a lot of times, sometimes what I want to happen and what I think are going to happen are 2 different things. I just talked about what I want or what I would like to see happen at Double or Nothing, but what I think will happen at Double or Nothing is I think they're going to keep the title on MJF. I just really do not see him losing the title anytime soon. I can see MJF holding on to the world title up until the whole bidding war in 2024 thing happens when his contract is up. And I just don't see them taking the title off him right now. So I would like to see Darby Allin or Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, either one of them get the world title. I just don't really see it happening at Double or Nothing. And that was tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite and AEW All Access. Focused more on the Young Bucks again this week. After the show in Chicago they talked about, and then moves on to the best of 7 series against the Death Triangle for the AEW Trios Championship. And again, more on Sammy Guevara, which shows his mom come to an AEW show, and then his mom, and Ty Mello go visit the building where he used to wrestle on Wrestle Circus shows at. And we even see some highlights from Wrestle Circus, and where he did a crazy moonsault off this beam they have at the building. And also, speaking of Ty Mello, we see more of her and Ruby Soho with going into their first match after Ty broke the nose of Ruby Soho, and more with Dr. Britt Baker and Adam Cole preparing to make his in-ring return. And we see him at a training place where Kenny Omega gets in the ring a little bit and works out with Cole. So that was tonight's new episode of AEW All Access. And still, I'm a fan of the show. Let me know in the comments right here on Spreaker or wherever you are listening if you are also a fan of AEW All Access. So far, I think it is actually a pretty good show. And next week, AEW Dynamite will be right here in my hometown of Detroit, Michigan, at the Little Caesars Arena. Unfortunately, not sure if I will be attending or not. Doesn't quite look like it, but I will definitely be watching on TBS. And the main event already announced, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley in a steel cage match. And Orange Cassidy will be defending the AEW International Championship next week on Dynamite. And Trinity Fatu has commented on her WWE exit. She says, I left that day because of the way I was talked to and handled, pretty much saying it had nothing to do with the creative for her and Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Moné. And when it came out, that's what was on most of the wrestling websites and everything, that it had to do with that they were unhappy with the creative, what was going on for them in the company at the time. So apparently that was not the case. And WWE has signed Olympic gold medalist Tamira Mensah-Stock. Hopefully I didn't say that too badly. She has signed with WWE. If you remember back at SummerSlam, we saw her in the front row. And more AEW news. Today started the pre-sale for All In London. And apparently it has done very well so far. About 43,000 tickets sold. And this is just a pre-sale. The main on-sale date for the general public is this Friday. And I think already probably going to be the biggest attended, the biggest gate in AEW history. So far the news is good. And this still doesn't mean that this is going to be a sellout, or doesn't mean you're going to break WWE's attendance for SummerSlam 92 or anything. But the way it's going now, it does look very good. And even if they don't completely sell out or have more than SummerSlam, I think they are definitely going to have a good enough size crowd where it's not going to be considered a failure or anything, where I'm sure this is going to be a success. At least, like I said, they're probably going to have a good crowd, and hopefully things will go good for All In August 27th. Still haven't actually announced if this is going to be a pay-per-view or some kind of special streaming event, which I hope is the case. And like I talked about before, not a good idea have 2 pay-per-views, $50 each, 2 weekends in a row. Like I said, maybe could work out with something for HBO Max, or at the time it will be switched to Just Max. They're getting rid of the HBO part in the title. They could do that and then stream it live on there. Not for free really, but it's included. It would be included in your subscription, so no extra charge, I should say. So that is all for tonight's episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for listening tonight, episode 398, right here on Spreaker or wherever you may be listening. And let me know if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions right here in the comments section. If the website or app you're listening on has a comment section. Also, those comments, suggestions, or questions, you can email 360wrestlingpodcasts@gmail.com. Or if you have a business or a product, anything you want to advertise, right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic or Good Morning Wrestling Fans, I'll definitely advertise your product right here. Just email 360wrestlingpodcasts@gmail.com. Let's work together and advertise your product or service. And I hope to have more new episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic coming at you. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the Thursday episode of GMWF. So hope everybody will be listening. Until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.